As I have said, there is a clear distinction between test-driven development and merely unit tests, and as such, they both have different advantages. Test-driven development will improve your code quality and design. It helps you more easily set up your architecture and evolve itself to the needs of your application so that you can better handle the new feature requests coming your way in an agile development environment. It can also directly speed up your development process, not only by thinking about all the edge cases and issues beforehand, but it can have a direct impact on your speed by avoiding manual retesting of your code while you are searching for a solution to a more complex problem. Let's go back to the indexation example that I said. Without unit tests, every time I change my code, I would have to manually test if it's working the way I expect it to. I would have to launch the application. I would have to input several contracts with various data. And then I would have to go to the indexation screen, run the indexation, manually check all the contracts, see if they are correct as expected. With unit tests, we can just insert this data in a test, run it, and we can see if it's behaving as we expected. So we can avoid the entire workflow of the application and just write one or more tests and run them multiple times as you search for your solution in perhaps trial and error way. And then the advantage of the unit tests themselves that results from TDD, it will cover your current functionality. So it helps you from not introducing bugs with a new feature to previous functionality, because every time you write a new feature, you will run all tests. If they pass, more than likely your application is still working as expected. And of course, it stops the cycle of repeating bugs. You fix a problem, you fix your bug, you wrote a test. No one should ever introduce that same bug again, which does happen without unit tests. After drilling about all these advantages about test-driven development, it's only fair that I also give you a warning about possible problems and pitfalls around test-driven development. First of all, it's not always as easy as people make it out to be. Maybe you've seen those test-driven developer preachers telling you how test-driven development is the end-all be-all solution to all your development problems. They show you a very simple problem and they show you a demonstration. Overly simple problems basically solved with very easy and short to write tests. We all know it's not that easy in the real world. We have much more complex problems that we have to solve. So it's very hard to write the test before you've even written a single line of code, especially if you like the experience in test-driven development. I do have some tips and tricks, but we'll come back to that later on. A second more serious problem can be when your project has been in a TDD cycle for a very long time. Your test suite could become this monstrosity of unruly test scenarios, and suddenly your new functionality, which seems to be working, has these old, apparently unrelated tests inexplicably failing. This kind of problem is mostly caused by the overabundance of badly written and brittle tests. It's one thing that you should always keep in mind is handle your tests as you would your code. You have to make an effort to write them cleanly and well comprehensible. I would definitely advise you, before you dive into test-driven development without experience, to research the matter. There's plenty of really good books, blogs on the internet, and I'm sure we're going to have more information on our website at narata.be available soon as well.